And if we move over to the other side of Glasgow, Pete, and talk about Celtic, is there any potential signings coming through the door at Celtic Park that you know of?
Obviously, they are working away to see what they can do in this window to see if they can improve the squad. They've obviously brought in Niklas Kuhn from Rapid Vienna, and he's been the biggest signing so far for Brendan Rodgers' side. So they'll be looking to see how he settles in and if he can make an immediate impact in that starting 11. I think Brendan Rodgers would ideally like to bring in another forward just to ease the burden on Kyogo and see if somebody else can come in and share the goals around. But everybody's after strikers in this January transfer window, so it's not easy to find and land your top targets in that respect as well. Goalkeeper is an area of the team that we've talked about previously that they would like to strengthen in as well. They had a bit of an interest, I think, in the Elfsborg goalkeeper, Vildemarsen, but he looks like he's on his way to Brentford now, so Celtic have missed out potentially on that deal. He's looking like he's heading to the Premier League, and that's a problem that the likes of Celtic and Rangers have got to contend with. If targets that they're after and Premier League clubs come in from, it's more than inevitable that they will lose out to the Premier League clubs because of the riches on offer as well. So for Celtic right now, it's looking around to see what they can do in this window as well. And the other news probably from Celtic right now is that Rocco Vata could end up signing a new contract at the club when it looked like he was on his way out after having talks with several Italian clubs over potential free transfer. But he scored at the weekend in that Scottish Cup win against Buckie Thistle, and talks are ongoing now to see if they can keep the young Republic of Ireland under 21 at Celtic Park as well. And probably one other possible departure from Celtic could be the goalkeeper Benjamin Seacrest, who's not really had a look in under Brendan Rodgers. He's third choice goalie at Celtic Park now, and there was an offer from Sturm Graz earlier in the window, but that got turned down, and Sturm Graz moved elsewhere for a new goalkeeper. But I believe there's been a couple of other offers for Seacrest, and I still expect him to move on before the close of the window.
I mean, it sounds like, Pete, from previous weeks when we've spoken, that they won't be selling Matt O'Reilly in this window. They'll be demanding a fee of about £25 million going into the summer. Considering how good he's been this season and previously, do you think it'd be best if they try and push, for a higher deal effectively? Do you think he's worth more than £25 million in this current market?
Yeah, I think he's got real potential to grow even further as a player. He's got Champions League now on his CV as well, playing for Celtic. He's become a key man under Brendan Rodgers, and I think a goal-scoring midfielder of the ilk of Matt O'Reilly, for any club that wants to sign him, you are going to have to pay top dollar, and Celtic have shown in the past that they will sell their best players, but they do try and get a good fee, the likes of Kieran Tierney that they've sold in the past. They got good money from Arsenal for him as well, and that's what Celtic will do. They won't want to lose Matt O'Reilly, no doubts about that. They'll want to keep him, but I think this summer transfer window, they will be braced for offers for Matt O'Reilly if he continues his fine form. And as I said, goal-scoring midfielders are like gold dust, and I'm sure there'll be interest from Premier League and top European clubs in Matt O'Reilly come the summer.
And there's been no further noise as it stands around Joe Hart's contract. Are you expecting an extension, or do you think he might be leaving?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. He's done well for Celtic, Joe Hart, since his arrival. There's no doubt about that. I think he's a popular figure in the dressing room as well, and he adds experience to that side as well. But I think Celtic, ideally, are looking at a long-term number one to come in the summer. As I said, they were looking at that Vildemarsen from Elfsborg, who is now going to Brentford. They've also been linked with Lunin from Real Madrid, who's been sort of battling it out with Kepa for that number one shirt at Madrid this season as well. So again, he might be out of Celtic's price range come the summer as well. But yeah, I think it's going to be a top priority for Brendan Rodgers and Celtic is to sort of sort that number one goalkeeping spot out next season. And I think obviously Joe Hart coming to the end of his contract, he might find first team chances limited if Celtic do bring in a new goalkeeper.
And which squad do you think is set up better going into the second half of the season?
It's a difficult one. Obviously, Philippe Clement's come in and done a good job. He's got a trophy already under his belt, winning the League Cup as well. It'll be interesting to see how Fabio Silva does up front for them. If he hits the ground running, it'll definitely improve that Rangers side as well. Celtic, I still think I've got the strongest squad on paper. They've been there and done it as well. I think, and if they get these players coming back from from the Asian Cup sooner as well, that'll only boost their squad as well when they get the likes of those South Korean and Japanese players back. I think Brendan Rodgers with the addition of Kuhn and potentially one or two more to come into the squad before the transfer window closes, I think Celtic still remain favourites and have the strongest squad to go on and win that Scottish Premier League title this season.
You've just watched a segment from Football Insider's brand new podcast, The Inside Track, with me, Lewis Pearce, alongside the guests on the show. Thanks very much for tuning in. Please do give the video a like, comment your thoughts on the topic, and feel free to share on your social media pages. If you want to listen to the full podcast episode, click the link in the description below. Keep your eyes peeled for plenty more content and exclusives here on The Inside Track.